Hello again, everyone. We are doing another tier list video today. This one is going to be a lot shorter than last time. It's just going to be a quick dungeon run through. A quick dungeon ranking video. I'm going to create the first time run through and how many times I would like to do a dungeon again. Some of these actually would rank higher than certain raids. For example, like Ghost of Deep definitely ranks higher than Root of Nightmares for me in my brain. But we aren't doing that right now. We are just ranking how fun a dungeon is and how replayable it is. You know what? Loot can also be a factor because loot is a big reason in Destiny and why you want to do something. We are going to do it in chronological order of when they came out. But God, I hope that I actually enjoy it because some of these are just going to be a pain in, like, the pain to do, especially certain encounters. As for this, every encounter is going to matter when it comes to the ranking. First off, though, we have Shattered Throne, the only dungeon that doesn't have rally banners, but is also the first dungeon to ever be made for Destiny. Personally, I really like it, but I don't think it can be ranked very high. It's got, actually, it can. It could be an A tier. It is the bare minimum that we can ask for a dungeon, and I do think it ranks higher than another one that's on this list, personally. The only problem is, the loot is, it felt like it's just well drops, basically. Like, what, Twilight Oath, Vouchsafe, and Retold Tale. They feel like they should just be dropping in, well, they do. They drop from Ascendant Challenges. How boring. Wish Ender, though, very fun. Good quest. Pretty sure it's the only dungeon with a quest is exotic, instead of just a random drop or no exotic at all. Because that is a theme of two of the dungeons that are coming up next. Just no exotics. What's boring? Well, one does technically. Actually, no. I take that back, because the next dungeon actually has a quest with it that gives you a dungeon, that gives you an exotic. If Wish Ender didn't get its buff, though, I wouldn't be ranking it this high. Like, it's all because of Wish Ender, basically, that this dungeon where it is. I guess you could say community backing from the book that was inside the lore books, and the whole reach 999 power, do the dungeon to break the curse, but then it's just all a lie. It's a shame, but it does make it a bit more interesting, and that's why I think it deserves the ranking of A. Next up, though, Pit of Heresy. I know a lot of people like this dungeon. I don't, and even though I think Quest Exotic should really rank it higher, it doesn't reach it because it's very fun, but it's all about Xenophage. That's the only reason I run this dungeon, is to get people with Xenophage. I haven't even done my soda, I've not even attempted soda floors from any of these, but I also can't be asked when it comes to this because there's no reason. Well, speaking of no reason, though, Prophecy. I'm sorry. The most lore implications in a dungeon in a while, but, well, at the time. Problem is, there's no reason to run it anymore. It actually is just roll drops as its loot, other than, like, Trials of the 9 repriced weapons, which is a shame because they're not really usable. Like, you can use them, of course, but none of them are, like, worthy, especially compared to some actual well drops do beat it. Like, the SMG used to be a good reason to go in their funnel web. Even that doesn't hold up anymore because it is a well drop. Last Breath, is that one of the weapons? It's okay, the old rifle. And then you have the hand cannon with Judgment that could turn it from like a 140 to a 120 or something, but the perk didn't work enough that you had to use to get that. It's a shame. If it had an exotic link to it might be a lot better. I think they should have made an exotic quest, or like a exotic that drops from the boss at the end. It's a fun solo, though, I have heard. That's about it. I don't know. Also, it's Gambit mechanics, just picking up motes. It's glitchy, it doesn't always work, and it's boring. It is a shame because I would love to see it higher. Next up on our list, we have Grasp of Avarice. This is gonna be another B tier for me. I think Fallen Shield is too slow. The start mechanic, like the starting of it, only good for like Catalyst. I mean, it does introduce you to the mechanic very quick, what's lovely, but there's no fun there. Picking up the exotic emotes, I guess as a meme sort of exotic, not exotic, meme sort of dungeon, it's quite good. It's got a high rating in that sense, but other than that, not the highest. The Galahorn quest, it's alright. It's nice to see the gun back in the game, but I think they could have done better. I mean, I'll take it. It introduces the loot cave again. It's interesting, but I'd rather it be in the game than it's not, but they should have done better. The Sparrow Racing part doesn't hold up to what it was in Scourge. It is so just finicky, it doesn't work the best. It's a shame, because I was doing it the other night, and like half time you get there, you finish a mine, and you still die. It doesn't always 100% work. I really enjoyed the first boss, but the final boss just annoys me. It's just a pain. The fact that like we can't walk in like the slightest little bit of water as well just kills us. It's so annoying. But it's followed by one of my favorite dungeons. I mean, it's definitely not the best dungeon. Oh no, it's not actually. Hang on, I was about to do this list along around. We have to go on to duality, which is gonna be an S tier ranking for me. Believe it or not, I love duality. As broken as those bloody jumpers are, I was redoing it. I used to hate on this dungeon so much, but I redid it the other night, and I've had the most fun I had in the game in a long time. It's such a fun dungeon to me. I love every little bit now, other than teleporting between Nightmare World. But I love the lore implications. I love the loot because Storm Chaser came out of it just before Time. It's a shame that it came out when it did. Could have had like that extra season or two to really shine, but oh well. It's a very good dungeon in my mind, and it's always fun. Heart Shadow, I still haven't got it. Hasn't dropped. I got terrible luck when it came to Heart Shadow and Navigator. They just don't want to drop for me, but they're fun, and I will happily rerun this dungeon. Next up, Spy the Watcher. I think this is my most done dungeon in that, or it might be my second most done. It's very fun to me. I enjoy the final boss. Second boss is the first boss is actually interesting if they want just a copy and paste from Garden of Salvation. I cannot speak today clearly. That is my main complaint with this. They have just copy and pasted a boss, but the mechanic with it, shooting the wires, isn't that fun. But at the same time, I'm not gonna moan because it's quite fun to go in there with people that don't know what they're doing. And I didn't do it day one. I went in there blind though. A few months later, I did enjoy it. It has been a blast to play, a blast to do run throughs of, and it's very interesting and easy to teach, which I will always enjoy in a dungeon. I don't always want easiness, especially not on raids. Dungeons, sometimes I can excuse it as long as I build it up. But the final boss, I think, is chaotic in a controllable sense. Like it's controllable, but it's also chaotic, and I enjoy that the most. So I'm actually going to put it just above Shadowthrone if they want to fix themselves. Ghost of the Deep might be the best dungeon in the game. It's hard. The only complaint I have is that the final boss has so many moths. I love that you can mess up, and if you don't... Oh, no, I actually have two complaints. The first encounter goes on a little bit too long, but I think it will be fine. It's sort of thing like you don't really worry about that encounter too much. It is fun though. I really enjoy it. The loot's amazing. There's the kinetic waveframe, a rocket that can be a god, like can be really good for DPS. I actually can't remember what the other exotic is, and then you have the navigator, which I feel like people haven't found its max potential for yet, or it's just like someday it's gonna get buffed or something. But it does have it is very useful. I just want to see how people actually implement it more in builds, see what can be done with it. Maybe when I get it myself, I might start trying out some strand builds and seeing how it works, because I want to see it do well. But it seems interesting. It's nice having a trace rifle in the kinetic slot. I think the dungeon itself is really fun. And what I was going to say before I forgot the second complaint, before I said the second complaint, was I love that if you forget to finish a ghost, they will just come back and that you have to do the boss fight again. It's such a joke, but also obvious option from Bungie. I love it. And then we have the lore implications, and it's amazing. The fact that they're trying to resurrect Oryx. Sorry, spoilers. I completely forgot, but it's been a whole season basically. It's amazing. That's crazy to think. And then you have the first boss being Oryx's right hand, well not right hand, but being the sword of Oryx. And it's like, oh my god, of all people they could have resurrected it. And then the final boss being a necromancer as well. It's like, oh my god, that's insane. I quite like the Lucent Hive. They're fun. I enjoy them a bit more than Tormentors. I think Tormentors were more fun in the campaign, but Lucent Hive outside of the campaigns. But outside the campaign, I would prefer going to Lucent Hive every time. And this is what that dungeon is. So for me, it's gotta be an S tier. Now, this has been a very short video that I have just extended, I've realised. But thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. And please tell me how you'd rank these yourself.